We are going to take a look at the manufacturing pathway tonight. My name is John Volge. I am one of the career and tech ed division heads at Wheeling High School. And I'm joined here by several panelists tonight, a great group mixed up with some teachers, industry partners, former students. So excited to give them an opportunity to share some of their experiences and some of the things that they've worked through in regards to manufacturing and the pathway and how they support District 214. So in our chat, if there is anybody here tonight that wants to use any sort of translation services, if you could go ahead and just post in the chat and we will get that sent over to you how to turn that on. But in the meantime, just want to welcome anyone that's joining us live tonight, as well as anybody that is watching this as it's being recorded, and it'll be posted out on our YouTube channel. And we appreciate people coming in and checking out what we have to say and learning a little bit more about our manufacturing pathway. So I'm going to focus on a couple of quick things here. We do, like I said, have a group of panelists tonight, which I will give them in just a moment here an opportunity to kind of share who they are and how they're connected to District 214, and then a little bit about some of their background. And then also wanted to take a look briefly at our manufacturing pathway. So this can be found in our academic guidebook, which I'll show you how to get to in just a moment. But some of the information here, it's really great to take a look at if we have students and families that have any interest in the manufacturing pathway here at District 214. So when you get to this page, what you'll be able to see is groupings of the different classes that are available to students, starting as ninth graders, as freshmen. There are several classes here that kind of get students prepared and understanding what manufacturing is all about. Some of these classes are available at every school. Some schools might have a couple, or there's a combination just depending on what offerings are available at each school in the district. And then you could see as you progress through as 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, there are different opportunities and different classes to continue in that pathway. So students have a really cool opportunity to explore several different courses, see different sides of the manufacturing world, which is a really cool opportunity. As you scroll through here, because there is quite a bit of information on this page, but just to kind of point out as you can go back and look at it on your own here a little bit, but we do have the graduation requirements. So if this is a student who's coming in as a freshman and recognizes, you know what, I want to be involved in manufacturing in some way, shape, or form, here's kind of the course requirements and graduation requirements they would follow in relation to some of the other core classes like English and math, science. And this gives kind of a pretty nice snapshot for a student to understand what classes they would be taking throughout their experience as a student in District 214. We also have a list here that I'll zoom in a little bit, listed as post-secondary opportunities. And this kind of goes over some of the really cool opportunities that are available to students beyond just the classroom. There are several different nights that the district puts on that are related to careers. There's career treks where we get students out of the building and seeing different manufacturing facilities in the area and kind of what they're doing there. We also have several clubs that students have the opportunity to join. We've got a high mileage vehicle club where they get to go race their cars at the Autobahn, which is a really cool experience. We do have our Robot Rumble competition, which we'll hopefully hear a little bit more about here in just a few minutes. And then there's just, lots of different other opportunities as far as our Skills USA. We have a Wild Sting FIRST Robotics team. So all this information is here. If you're interested in looking at this a little bit more, here is how you can access our academic program and pathway guidebook. So if you go to District 214's website, click on that academics tab up at the top, and then you have the link right there for the academic programs and pathways guidebook. So once again, we appreciate you joining us. We're going to jump into the opportunity now to introduce our panelists. So we'll go ahead and get it started. We've got Phil. Would you like to go ahead and start us off?
How you doing? My name is Phil Chammer. I am the manufacturing and engineering teacher up at Buffalo Grove High School. And I actually teach all three of the courses that were listed for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. First one being computer integrated manufacturing, and then the two kind of capstone classes, college advanced machine technologies and college advanced CNC. I'm also the one of the assistant robotics coaches here at Buffalo Grove High School, and participate with a couple different groups in the Robot Rumble competition. I'm also I've done the high mileage vehicle competition as well for the past 8 years now. So very well experienced with all of those different things and the different opportunities that students have here.
Great. Thank you so much. Emily, would you like to jump in next?
Sure. My name is Emily Sohn, and I am a District 214 alumni who took a lot of the courses in the CTE program. I am currently a manufacturing associate at Dempsey Chicago Plastic Injection Molding Plant in Elk Grove.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. And we have Justin here as well.
Yes, thank you. My name's Justin Perietti. I'm the Vice President of Operations, also at Demji. So I work with Emily. We specialize, like she said, in injection molding on high performance plastic parts used for medical and aerospace applications primarily.
Excellent. Thank you. And Lucy, you as well. Would you like to share some information too?
Sure. I'm Lou Raymond. I am VP of Engineering at Intrinsic Quality. We are a company here in Elk Grove, and what we end up doing is working with factories that are building electronic assemblies of any nature. And as they build these assemblies, they need to test them. So we're manufacturing all of the equipment that goes into electronically testing them as well as mechanically testing them.
Excellent. Thank you all. So if you don't mind, Justin, I'm going to jump back to you real quick. Would you be willing to share just a little bit of how you got into what you're doing? You know, did you go to school for that? Did you have any experience in high school yourself at all?
Yeah, I actually had limited experience in high school. I love some of the opportunities that are out there these days. Encourage everyone to take them. I had done a couple like shop type classes in high school, but hadn't really gotten involved on like the advanced manufacturing type curriculum that's offered these days. I went to college after high school, got my degree in engineering, and then kind of bounced around fields and got to see all the different types of jobs and applications that are out there.
Excellent. Thank you. And Lou, would you mind answering the same for us?
Sure. So early on, I grew up and my father was a physics teacher. So I sort of got into the physics at that point. Went to school and ended up with a degree in economics with a minor in physics. And then as I got into the industry, I thought I was going to go into sales. And they said, hey, why don't you learn what the job is? So I started learning about engineering and turned out that I was pretty good at it. So 30 years later, I've graduated up to being a management level engineering, mentoring about 6 guys here on staff.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. Well, we do have our community partners here, both Lou and Justin. And so the first or the next question I'd like, if you guys don't mind sharing, can you just describe to us a little bit, what does a typical day look like for you at work? I know maybe it's not the same every day, but maybe some of the things that you do normally, or maybe even share a couple of the outside the box things that happen as well.
Sure. So for us, a typical day is always changing. That we have a 12-week process typically where we're taking a job on and we try to work with each of the people on staff to conceptualize how we're going to do the tasks, how are we going to solve these problems. And then it goes into a design phase. We take that conceptualization and we sit at the PC and we're working with SolidWorks or we're designing electronic circuits. And then from there, we go into production phase where we're actually out in the shop, drilling, milling, having fun, doing the physical side of things rather than just working mentally. And then after that, we have the hardest part of it, which is actually making it all work. And that finishes off the last of that process. So that's about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, on my side, it's a lot of similar activities. In my current role, a lot of planning that goes into it, monitoring monitoring numbers and metrics to make sure that the operation is flowing smoothly, that the quality is there. And then you get into the one-off scenarios. Like today, we had a component of a machine that was stuck in the injection unit, and we had to quickly come together with a little mini team from different departments, come up with a custom tool, fabricate it, and utilize it so that we could get back up in operation. So there's some of that day-to-day predictable production related items, and then there's the fires, if you will.
No, thank you both. And Emily, I'm going to loop you in on this one too. So Emily, as she shared, is a recent graduate from District 214 and is now entering the workforce and has some experience so far. So do you want to share a little bit about how things have been for you as well?
Sure. So my day-to-day changes from day to day. The job title manufacturing associate is kind of broad. So I also end up bouncing around departments. For the past 6 months or so, I have been training and learning in the quality department, while I also have other smaller projects on the side that either just help out around the plant or are where my interest lies, which is automation.
Excellent. Very cool. Thank you. So the next question I have for you guys is, and it might kind of vary depending on the different roles within your companies, but what type of training do you see necessary for people to get a job in the field you're in, or maybe where you are personally at?
Start, I guess. I think that's one of the really cool things about manufacturing is there are a lot of different paths into manufacturing. I would say above all, it takes a desire to learn and go see what's out there. I mean, throughout my career, I mentioned I was kind of traditionally educated, but throughout my career, I've been working alongside individuals who decided to go directly into manufacturing and work their way up from there. So there's really a broad path to get into it. Just a lot of determination and hard work, but if you put your mind to it, you can definitely accomplish anything in the field.
Excellent.
I tend to agree there with Justin that, this starts with the thirst for knowledge and putting your mind to it. I'm doing electronic engineering and my background's economics from a formal education. We've had people that have gone into engineering here on staff that may have started out as a corpsman in, the Army or something of that nature. And they come on staff doing one job, but because they're interested in doing something else, they step up and they take the next role. And as long as you have that thirst for knowledge, there's a spot for you at the next level.
Excellent. Perfect. And Emily, for you, how about what do things look like for you right now? Are you taking classes? Are you just focusing on work right now? What does your pathway look like?
I am a full-time college student. I also work a full-time job, and I like to go see things on the side. So I went to IMTS in September, and then this week I'm going to go to the Rosemont Assembly Show.
So you sounds like you definitely have that interest and that desire.
Yeah. That's
Cool.
how I got my placement. I went to a job fair and I met the HR lady for Denji, and that's how I got my placement. So
Very cool. So I'm gonna throw it back to Lou and Justin real quick here. What would be kind of your advice like to a high school student to kind of prepare for a career in manufacturing?
Well, I think first, as much as we've just said, as long as you have that thirst for knowledge, obviously you can leapfrog a bunch of stuff when you do go to school and, you're diligent in what you do. Find the time to make sure that you're always asking why and how. And, when you're at university, that's a great opportunity to really get to that next level by understanding what it is that you're doing. The math will take you a long way, but if you don't understand what it is you're trying to accomplish, it's hard to actually make the math work. So that's sort of where I'm at, is just keep asking, but, really try to understand it.
Yeah, I'll just add one little small bit to that. I would say, like, don't pigeonhole yourself into something. There's so many different fields out there. If you had asked my high school self if I'd be in the plastics industry, a while later, I would have said probably not. But there's a lot of different fields, a lot of different job opportunities. So your career path can kind of take on any different approach. So keep an open mind. Uh, Utilize those around you to kind of soak up their knowledge and see what's served them well, because by and large people are really interested in sharing knowledge and helping to transfer that.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing that. Give you guys a break for a minute here. I'm going to jump over to Phil. And so Phil is one of our teachers here in District 214. I know you kind of introduced a little bit of what you teach just a bit ago, but would you mind kind of just sharing what are the courses that you're teaching, and what would you say are some of the most important skills, or some of the content that you guys are learning in your classes?
Yeah, one of the first classes that I teach is computer integrated manufacturing, and that's an engineering course that really focuses on just the basics of how automation is brought into the manufacturing industry. We focus on a little bit of robot programming, so understanding basic robot movements and why we program them very specific ways. We also get to build a couple of small AGVs, or an automated guided vehicle. Students get a little bit of the hands-on side of it while learning a little bit of the programming through it as well. It's definitely a hands-on class, so that's always, for me, like how I was in high school. I couldn't sit still in class. I always had to tinker with things. So a class like that would be great for anybody that loves to move around and loves to build things. I teach two other classes. They're both dual credit classes through Harper. One of them is called College Advanced Machine Technologies, and the other one is College Advanced CNC Machining. Both of them are focused on metalworking and metal manufacturing. The first level, you get the basic understanding of machines like a mill and a lathe, and you learn a lot of the manual skills needed to fabricate and to shape a piece of metal into any type of design that you need, or any type of part that you need. That second level is where we focus on programming machines to be able to cut out those parts for us. So in those classes, definitely, if you like getting up, moving around, if you like to work hands-on, if you like to do a little bit like what Lou and Justin kind of talked about, where you're not just sitting at one job the entire day. You're working a little bit on the computer, you're working a little hands-on, you're doing a little problem solving, you're working with a little bit of everything. If you love to do that, these classes are definitely for you.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that. You know what, you did just bring up dual credit. Would you be willing to kind of share for our audience, just let them know a little bit what dual credit is?
Yeah, definitely. Dual credit is where you are earning high school credit for your high school graduation, but you are also earning college credit at the same time. So the courses that I teach, the two of them, you're actually earning credit at Harper Community College that you can end up transferring out to a different four-year school if you're looking to go to that. And it counts for you if you are looking to go to Harper. Another thing that I tell students is, even if you are just strictly going into the manufacturing industry and you might not do any schooling right away, it's always good to have on your resume that you've taken a couple college courses, because that'll help you just put your resume just on top of somebody else's maybe.
Excellent. And do you happen to know offhand how many college credit hours they would earn for those courses?
I'm trying to remember. I believe it's somewhere between 6 and 9 credit hours. Yeah, which is quite a bit. It's quite a
Yeah.
bit for a couple classes.
Yeah, it saves some money for students as well. That's awesome. Very cool. So then, do you mind sharing a little bit about what are some of maybe like the external experiences students may get, in different activities outside of the classroom that are available to them?
Awesome. Yeah, one of the like events that we talked about earlier was the high mileage vehicle event. That is a competition where students get a 5 horsepower engine, which is kind of like your lawnmower engine, and students have to design a car around that engine. And the whole point is to get the highest fuel efficiency possible. So students are using some of their engineering mindset and some of their manufacturing skills to make a vehicle that's aerodynamic, to make a vehicle that's lightweight. The best part about all these programs and all these after school things is that all of it is student based. I basically teach students how to use equipment safely, and they do all the designing, they do all the building. And the best part about it is they do all the driving down at the competition. The students will take the go-kart or the vehicle that they build, they'll drive it around the racetrack twice, and they'll be able to calculate their fuel efficiency that way. So it's always really cool when you get to see the start of a student design and then you see the amazing product that they make. Another event that we have, or another club that we have, is robotics, and they participate in the Robot Rumble. That is a yearly event hosted here at District 214 where students build battle bots from scratch. They design everything, they do all the wiring, they do everything themselves. And again, it's very similar to the TV show BattleBots, where the whole point is just to destroy another robot or destroy anything that gets into the arena. So it's really cool seeing all of those robots that they put together. There's a total of 40 robots, or sometimes even over 40 robots that participate in that event. So it's a really cool way to get, again, the idea of design, working on the computer, building and fabricating, and then seeing that final result. It's a great way to get that whole experience.
Excellent. Thank you. And I'm gonna bring one up too. I know, Emily, you had mentioned just a little bit ago that you like to go and see stuff outside of, the work day, the school day, and you mentioned the IMTS, the International Manufacturing Technology Show. We recently had some students that took part in having their own booth there, and they programmed their robotic arm to be a DJ and play music. It was pretty cool opportunity. So I think, one of the things in District 214 that's absolutely amazing is just all these external opportunities that students get. And some of them are tied to clubs, like Phil just shared a little bit about. And then sometimes other things just kind of come along and students get to participate in them. So I think just being able to network and show off what they're doing, because some of the stuff's just absolutely incredible, what our students are able to do. So, so Emily, did you get to experience any of those different activities? I'm not sure if you were involved in any of those at all while you were in school.
Yeah, so for most of my senior year, me and a bunch of guys from my grade, we did the high mileage project. And I'd say I played the quality control role. I made sure it was within the rules. It was not very fuel efficient, but it was very fun, and we learned a lot from that.
That's awesome. Did you ever get to drive?
Yeah, I did. I was one of the few people who got it around the track because I didn't gas it.
Excellent. Very good. All right. So Phil, kind of back to you for another question. Sorry. Are there any types of different credentials that students can earn? I know you mentioned dual credit earlier, but any other additional certifications or credentials that students can get while taking any of those classes you mentioned?
Yeah, absolutely. Taking the college advanced machine technology and the advanced CNC course, we offer students the opportunity to get NIMS certification. That is the National Institute of Metalworking Standards. Those are certifications that are recognized in engineering, in manufacturing, in welding, and in a ton of different career fields. So there's a couple of those certifications that students will have the opportunity to take a test for and to get those certifications. And what was the other one? Haas. We have a lot of Haas machines. Those are CNC machines that will cut metal into different shapes and different things that we need. We do offer a Haas CNC operator certification as well. Haas is a company that is very well known, and many companies have Haas machines. So that could be a certification that could be very beneficial to any company that has a Haas CNC machine.
Excellent. So I'm gonna actually jump off that to back to Justin and Lou for a second. Do you guys, as you see people come in for employment and everything, do you see any sort of certifications that like that and that are, good for people to have once they're entering your field?
For us, we don't have a whole lot of, certification requirements because, we're a small company and, when I go looking through the resumes, certifications certainly stand out as somebody that says, hey, I'm willing to learn. I've learned these skills. They translate well. So I don't know that I have any specific ones that I can point to, but I can certainly say they add value to the candidates that we're looking for.
Yeah, and on our side, we do this very similar approach where the certifications help illustrate that individual has a certain skill set that may be applicable. Not a lot required. There are certain areas of the plant, like we have a tool shop where you mentioned the Haas certificate. We have like a sister brand to Haas, and so that would demonstrate to us that the individual kind of has the basics down. So those would help for sure. And then there's always opportunities on the job to further those as well.
Excellent. Great. Thank you guys. All right. So I'm gonna jump over to Emily. I'm gonna shoot a couple questions your way now, if you don't mind. So I know you are a recent graduate. Would you mind kind of just sharing your experience as far as like the pathway went? Like, did you jump into manufacturing? Did you know as a freshman that's what you wanted, or were you kind of taking some other classes and found your way into manufacturing later on?
So I initially was going to go and try acting, but it was COVID year, so that didn't really happen. So coming in sophomore year, first actual year in high school, I was in the engineering pathway. But one of the first projects in that course ended up with us building a chair, and that was just my favorite thing. So I switched over to the manufacturing pathway, where I took fabrication 1, fabrication 2, and then we kind of made our high mileage course like into an actual course for the year. So it was like a class as well as an activity. And then I also took an internal internship with my CTE teacher where I got to have free reign of the shop and do whatever I wanted within reason. And then I did a full year apprenticeship for my senior year where I got over 450 hours of on-the-job training at DEMG.
Excellent. Can you explain a little bit what that looked like for you then? Because as a senior, was that during your school day? Was that after your school day? How did that look for you?
So I know for a fact this is different for most apprentices, but for me, because of the split A-B schedule, I had 4 classes on A day, and then I would spend all of B day at DEMG.
Excellent. Yeah, so I think that's one of one of the really cool opportunities in District 214 is having those apprenticeships available. And they are all different. Like you said, I know some students will go to class for the first couple blocks of the day, and then in the afternoons they'll go work. And it just really kind of depends on how we can make it fit with the company they're at and then the student schedule. So I appreciate you sharing that. I think that's just such a cool opportunity to be able to earn those hours while you're still going to high school and finishing up your high school diploma. So I know you mentioned the chair project. Can you expand on that a little bit? What did you get to do? Did you design it? Did you build it? Did you get to do all of that?
All of the above. It started off as design on CAD, and then we would go and have it cut out on the wood cutting CNC we had at Hersey, where we would then like kind of polish it off, put the whole chair together, paint it, and then it would be judged by the kindergarten class next door to see which chair was their favorite. Mine won. Very proud of that. But
Very
yeah.
cool. So Phil, do you have any sort of projects like that that you find are really fun or students really like in your classes?
Yeah, I focus a lot on kind of like what Emily said, having something that you can take home and use, a chair. You could take that home, you can use that. A lot of the projects that I work on, I try to create things that students can use in the future. So for instance, one of the projects is actually a screwdriver. Students will turn down on a lathe, they'll make a screwdriver handle that they can put different drill inserts into, and they could use it either as a flathead screwdriver or a Phillips screwdriver or whatever bit that they need for the task at hand. So there's a project like that. There's another project where we actually make a small C-clamp that you can clamp materials together while you're doing something, or if you need to clamp something down to a table as you're working on something, you've got something like that. And then a new project that we're working on this year is we're creating a thread gauge. And that is going to be a block that has a bunch of holes in it. And students are going to learn how to hand tap threads into that hole. And they're going to learn about the different thread types for different screws and the different sizes of screws that there are. So I always focus, like I said, on things that can be useful in the future, things that they can take into a manufacturing career or an engineering career, something that they can keep for a long time and still utilize.
Excellent. Very
I
cool.
still use my screwdriver that I made in that class.
Awesome. I love it.
That's great. No, that's what we love to hear that. That's fantastic. So would you, Emily, can you share a little bit, like what did your coursework look like? I know obviously you took some manufacturing courses, if you don't mind sharing kind of which all those ones or which ones those were, but also how about like just kind of the core classes? Were there any other classes that really helped you out or found that, they really helped you in your pursuit of manufacturing?
Core classes like English, math.
Yeah, did you find any of that stuff? I know Lou mentioned physics a little bit, and if that was something, did you say your dad was a physics teacher? Was that right? Yeah.
That's correct.
So
Yeah.
did you find any of those types of classes help just kind of sharing with other students what classes might be valuable to you as well if you're going in the manufacturing route?
I would definitely say look into practical mathematics or any of like the real world, real application math over the crazy high technical math. Because you're gonna actually be using it versus the other math that you might not use at all.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. And then I know you touched on it just a little bit, but as of right now, you're going to school and you're working. What are kind of your goals? Where do you have any idea? Like I know you say you got to work in a few different departments so far. Are there any specifically that maybe you could see yourself kind of settling in with in the future?
Um, in the future, I'm looking to make my own department. We don't have a specific department for automation yet. We have me and one other lady who works a lot with it, but that's the end goal. However, quality has been really fun, really educational so far.
Excellent. Very cool. All right. And so we're getting kind of near the end here. Just want to give you guys a chance to kind of wrap some things up here. So Phil, for you, what would be kind of some of your best advice to a student coming in as a freshman or a sophomore, maybe early on, not knowing exactly what they want to do? What would be some of your advice to those students?
Just kind of reiterating what Justin said earlier, have an open mind. I get three types of students that come into class, and at the end of the year, they are either students that fall in love with manufacturing, there's students that go, yeah, manufacturing, and then I have some students that say, hey, I really don't like manufacturing. The best part is that you at least tried class. You tried it. You figured out if you liked it or not. That's okay if you don't like manufacturing and you want to go in a different route. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it seems more and more that there's a lot of students that think that that's not okay to do. That's perfectly fine. At least try it and you could see if you end up loving it or not. So keep that open mind.
Excellent. And then for Lou and Justin, obviously you guys have been doing it for a while. As you have kind of new or younger staff coming in, what's kind of, the best advice you could give them as well?
Well, I think sort of building off of, what Phil and Emily just were talking about is um, take those courses, because you never know where you're going to go. I've had several mechanical engineers that it's been amazed that they don't know which end a screwdriver is, and yet they're trying to design stuff for manufacturing to build. And if you don't know how things get built, it's hard to design for building. And you never know. You might find that you really just like building stuff over, trying to design it. Everybody's got a niche. And so, cast that net far and wide, figure out what it is you like, and, then dive into it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's sound advice on both guys' parts. I mean, and really a lot of these skills are foundational. So even if you jump in and try something and you don't like it, that's gonna pay dividends, years from now when you're in the career that you do like, hopefully, and just giving you an awareness of how those principles work or how that field works. And I'd be say, don't be afraid to fail. We learn so much more from failure, and that's never frowned upon. I mean, obviously no one likes going through it at the time, but as long as you have that open mind and you're willing to learn from it and own up to it, that's how we grow. That's how companies grow. That's how people grow.
Excellent. And Emily, as just finishing up high school just recently, what would be your best advice you could give to current students?
That's a tough one. But high school, it's not the end. You just gotta keep pushing forward.
Excellent. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I think we'll end on a high note here. We'll kind of go around to everybody here to just share what's your favorite part about what you're currently doing? So Phil, do you want to share your favorite part about what you're doing as far as manufacturing goes in the classroom?
I love those aha moments that you get from students. We're currently right now using a manual mill to machine dots onto a dice and kind of talking, like Emily said, with like the practical math. I had a lot of students that looked at it and they go, hey, this is just like plotting points on an XY coordinate system. I never thought I was going to use geometry in my life. And all of a sudden that light bulb clicks and they see that practical application of some of the other things that they've learned. I love seeing those moments with students and them just all of a sudden saying, okay, yeah, cool, I can do this. We've already learned this before. So I love seeing those light bulb moments.
Justin, how about for you? What's your favorite part of your job that you get to do every day?
Yeah, absolutely. I've kind of switched too from being the person doing a lot of the stuff to, being the person coordinating it. And it's been very fulfilling, bringing teams together and watching that process unfold and watching those unique solutions that come out of that process has been very fulfilling for me.
Thank you. And Lou, how about for you?
Yeah, I think it's sort of the combination of everything there. Every day is a new process, new learning opportunity, and being able to apply the experiences that we have to that which is the new problem presented to us, and being able to solve it. That's the exciting piece. When you come to those solutions.
Excellent. And Emily, last but not least, how about for you?
Favorite part of what I'm doing now,
Yes.
there's only one way to go, and it's up.
Excellent. Very, very cool. Well, thank you all so much. I just want to take another second here to thank our panelists. We really appreciate you guys taking the time tonight, sharing your experiences, talking a little bit about what you do every day and some of your favorite things about what you do. So we appreciate your connection to District 214 and how you're helping our students. We love to hear about all the success stories. So Emily, congratulations to you, and we wish you nothing but continued success moving forward. And I agree, I think there's nowhere to go but up. So it's exciting to hear about the things that you're doing. And we want that for all of our students. We want that for each student that walks through our doors. And that's why I think having these programs and these career pathways are an excellent way to get students hopefully on a track where they are excited and they're interested and they're curious and they want to continue to learn. And that's kind of what it's all about. So once again, thank you so much for our panelists for being here tonight. Thank you to those of you that joined us live and are here. And for those of you that are watching on the recording afterwards, we appreciate you joining and listening to a little bit about what District 214 has to offer in their manufacturing pathway. So with that, we'll say goodnight to everybody and thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.